Hello students, welcome back to Career Power Hyderabad powered by Adda 24/7. So students, today we'll see weekly section wise MCQ revision. So this is week 1 of January 2022. So before going into the video, please subscribe our YouTube channel, like and share our videos, join the Telegram channel and download the Career Power Hyderabad app. We'll provide the links in the description as well as comment section below. So do join the Telegram app because the PDF is available in Telegram app. So please join the Telegram app. And also in this video we'll discuss the week-long current affairs in the form of MCQs. So watch this video entirely. It will have duration of nearly 1 to 1.5 hours. So please be patient. Very useful for all the bank, SSC, RRB examinations. So let us see the first section, national news, and the first question. Union Minister for Education Dharmendra Pradhan, he launched a 100-day reading campaign. What is the name of the campaign? The name of the campaign is titled as Padhe Bharat. So Padhe Bharat is the 100-day reading campaign launched by Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan. Okay, so this campaign is mainly focusing on children studying from the nursery, pre-nursery to grade 8th or class 8th. So it's a total 100-day campaign starting on January 1st till April 10th. So this will include children, teachers, parents, community and educational administrators who will focus on making reading as a habit. So every week they'll have an activity. So this will make students reading enjoyable, build a lifelong association with the joy of reading. Okay, so this is about the program. So next question, PM Modi has laid the foundation stone for Major Dhyan Chand Sports University in Uttar Pradesh in which district? So Major Dhyan Chand Sports University is launched at Meerut. So foundation stone was laid at Meerut in UP. Okay, so at a cost of 700 crores, this university will be built. This university will train nearly 1080 sports persons, 50% from male sports and 50% from female sports persons. Okay, it will have state-of-art infrastructure regarding various sports in the country and develop sports persons for national, international events. So it is present in UP. So UP CM Yogi Adityanath, Governor is Anandibin Patel. So IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw, who is also the Minister for Railways, Electronics, IT. So he launched India's semiconductor mission. So according to this mission, how much financial support will be given for every project launched by companies? So 50% of the project cost will be given as a support by the union government. So according to this India semiconductor mission, so mainly this is to attract large investments for setting up semiconductor wafer fabrication facilities, okay, in India. So companies that are interested, they are invited by the center to develop the semiconductor and display manufacturing ecosystem in India. Okay, so according to this mission, it's a 76,000 crore incentive program where financial support up to 50% will be given for silicon based semiconductor fabs in India, and also this support will be given for 6 years. Okay, and also a financial support of 12,000 crores per fab will be given for setting up of display fabs in India. So this is mainly to attract investments in LCD, MOLED based display panels. So these type of manufacturing we want to do in India. Okay, and also a financial support of 30% is given for compound semiconductor, silicon photonics, sensors, fabs, semiconductor, ATMP, OSAT facilities, all these things. For all these companies, they are giving 30%. Okay, so this is mainly to promote the manufacturing industry in India. So fab is nothing but a fabrication plant. We have seen the word called fab. So fab is a fabrication plant where raw silicon vapors are processed. They are transformed into integrated circuits. Okay, so this is about this scheme. So Ministry of Education, they have launched this particular platform, an initiative where they provide EdTech solutions and courses to students. So what is the name of the platform? The platform is called NEET 3.0. So Union Education Minister, you know him, Dharmendra Pradhan, he launched a National Educational Alliance for Technology and Regional Language Textbooks prescribed by the All India Council for Technical Education. So this NEET, this site is mainly to provide EdTech solutions and courses on single platform. So this is mainly to benefit the economically disadvantaged students. So it's a PPP model project done by the government as well as EdTech companies. Okay, so 58 EdTech companies, they are providing 100 courses, e-sources to enhance the learning outcomes of the poor students. Okay, so this is about the program. So next, Ayush Minister Sarbanand Sonowal, so he laid the foundation stone for International Yoga Academy in which city? So International Yoga Academy was launched in Hyderabad. The foundation stone was laid in Hyderabad. Okay, so this also at this foundation event, 75 crore Surya Namaskar initiative was also launched. So this Surya Namaskar initiative is the part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations. Okay, so this academy, the International Yoga Academy, it is mainly to promote yoga in the country as well as internationally. Okay, so this 75 crore Surya Namaskar project is the main tribute to the 75 years of Indian independence, supported by various central ministries and led by 5 international organizations. Okay, so after completion of this, if you participate in the Surya Namaskar program, you will be given a certificate also. So these are the things happening. So R.K. Singh, so he dedicated, the Union Minister for New and Renewable Energy, he dedicated automatic generation control to the nation. So this automatic generation control is operated by which of the following organizations? It is operated by the Power System Operation Cooperation. So POSOCO, so Power System Operation Corporation. So they operate this automatic generation control. So this particular system will send signals to every power plant every 4 seconds to maintain the frequency and reliability of the power system. Okay, so every 4 seconds they send a signal to power plants to maintain the reliability and frequency of the power system. Okay, so this particular system is developed by the Power System Operation as well as IIT Bombay. So India currently has an installed capacity of 150 gigawatts of renewable energy. They want to expand it to 175 gigawatts in 2022. So let us discuss this Power System Operation Corporation Limited. So it's a public sector unit under the Ministry of Power, mainly responsible to monitor and ensure round the clock integrated operation of the Indian power system in a reliable, efficient, secure manner. Okay, so it was established in 2009, headquarters is in New Delhi. So next question, PM Modi, he handpicked this particular union territory or state to host the 25th National Youth Festival. So 25th National Youth Festival to be held in Puducherry. So Puducherry is going to organize this festival from 12th to 16th January 2022. So this was announced by the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Anurag Singh Thakur. So this festival will draw nearly youth from the ages 18 to 22. So nearly 7,000 youth in this age are going to participate, and nearly 500 youth from Puducherry are going to participate. So this youth festival is a part of the National Youth Week celebrations, mainly organized to propagate the concept of national integration, brotherhood, the spirit of communal harmony, courage and adventure among the youth. Okay, so this youth festival, it's an annual gathering of various activities. So it celebrates the birth anniversary of Swami Vivekananda. In every year, every different state, this festival, youth festival, is being organized. So generally, Swami Vivekananda birthday is celebrated on January 12 as the National Youth Day, and the week, concerned week, is celebrated as National Youth Week. So this festival was launched in 1995, and various states, they organize this festival every year. So next question, who chaired, name the Indian who has been given the charge of chair of United Nations Council, Security Council, Counter-Terrorism Committee. So this particular Indian was named the chair of the Counter-Terrorism Committee of the United Nations Security Council. The answer is Tirumurti. So Tirumurti is India's permanent representative to United Nations. He now chairs the Counter-Terrorism Committee for 2022. So India assumed the chairmanship for 1 year on January 1st, and Tirumurti is now the head of this committee. So India is the non-permanent member of United Nations Security Council, which is a 15-member nation, 15-nation committee, and the term of India is 2 years, which will end on December 31st, 2022. Okay, so India chaired this committee after 10 years, and this committee is established by the Security Council Resolution 1373 in 2001 after the 9/11 attacks. This committee is mainly to monitor the implementation of the Resolution 1373, to enhance the legal and institutional ability to counter the terrorist activities at home and around the world. Okay, so this counter-terrorism committee is mainly to restrict the terrorist activities and persons involving in terrorism. So UNSC runs this committee. UNSC was established in 1945, headquarters is in New York, currently has 15 members. India is a non-permanent member, so please do remember. So next, the ceiling on parliamentary poll expenditure has been raised from 70 lakhs to how many lakhs in bigger states? So it was raised to 95 lakhs in bigger states. So Election Commission of India, they have increased the existing election expenditure limit for the candidates in both parliamentary and assembly elections. So this is due to the rise in inflation. The expenditure is now increased. The limit of expenditure is now increased. So this new limits will be applicable for the upcoming elections in the coming 5 states. Okay. So previous hike was given in 2014. Now again it is hiked by 10% in 2020. Okay. So Election Commission, they formed a committee to check all this expenditure, and this committee recommended, and the new recommendations, if you see, in bigger states now you can spend up to 95 lakhs, in smaller states 75 lakhs, and Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir 95 lakhs, and for assemblies, if you see, 40 lakhs in bigger state, 28 lakhs in smaller states. So this is the new expenditure limits. So let us discuss about Election Commission of India, which is established on 25th January 1950. So 25th January is usually celebrated as the National Voters' Day. So Election Commission of India is headquartered in New Delhi. According to Article 324, it is the duty of Election Commission to conduct fair and free elections. So direction, superintendence, control of elections of Parliament, state legislature, office of the President and Vice President, all the elections are conducted by the Election Commission. So current Chief Election Commissioner, Sushil Chandra, and the other election commissioners are Rajiv Kumar and Anup Chandra Pandey. So please remember, very, very important. So now we will see international news. So which first question, which city has become the first city with largest metro network? So Shanghai has the largest metro network. So with a total 831 kilometer, Shanghai now has the largest metro network. So Shanghai is the largest city in China. So China capital Beijing, currency is renminbi, president is Xi Jinping. This is the flag of China, and China is very near to India, it's a neighbor to India. So which country has taken over the presidency of the European Union, Council of European Union for the next 6 months? The answer is France. So France is the new president of the Council of European Union. So France will continue till June 2022. So this is the 13th time France is holding the presidency. The motto of this presidency is recovery, strength, belonging. So France will work to bring 2 objectives. One is digitization, the other is climate protection. Okay. So France will be replaced by then Czech Republic in June 2022. So France capital Paris, currency is euro. So France President Emmanuel Macron and Prime Minister is Jean Castex. Okay. So European Union, which was established in 1993, headquartered in Brussels. The current membership in the European Union is 27, and recently United Kingdom has left European Union in 2020. So here are the other organizations of the European Union, and also this is the map of European Union. Except United Kingdom, these are the countries which are present in European Union. So please remember, very, very important. So next, which of the following nation has successfully conducted the series of tests of their hypersonic missile called Zircon? So Zircon is a missile of Russia. So Russia developed the Zircon missile. So this hypersonic cruise missile was tested by Russia successfully. So Russia capital is Moscow, currency is ruble, president is Vladimir Putin. This is the flag of Russia, and Russia above India, you can see it is in this Iberian region. So please remember, very, very important. So name the former British Prime Minister who was appointed as the member of the Order of Garter, the oldest and the most senior order of the chivalry. So he was given the title Sir. So name the British former Prime Minister who was given the title, honorary title Sir. The answer is Tony Blair. So Tony Blair from now onwards will be called Sir Tony Blair. Okay. So this order is given from 1348 in recognition of the significant public service. So Tony Blair was given for this, for his significant public service. So it is given by UK. So UK capital London, currency is pound, and UK monarch is Queen Elizabeth, Prime Minister is Boris Johnson. So please remember all these points. Okay. So this is the flag of UK. So you can see UK in the map. So once India was ruled by the UK, United Kingdom, it is in Europe. So Abdullah Hamdok, so he recently resigned as the Prime Minister of which country? Abdullah Hamdok resigned as the Prime Minister of Sudan. So recently, you know, Abdullah Hamdok was in the month of October, he was reinstated as the Prime Minister. But now because of the conflict between the Prime Minister and the Supreme Leader, Abdullah Hamdok, he again resigned to his post. And the conflict is between Abdullah Hamdok and Al Burhan, who is the Supreme Leader of Sudan currently. Okay, so General Abdul Fattah Al Burhan, he is a Sudanese politician and army general who is the de facto head of the state. So he captured the entire country using a military coup. So now he is ruling the country. So he and Abdullah Hamdok has differences. So that is why Abdullah Hamdok resigned from his position. So this is the flag of Sudan. Sudan capital Khartoum. Currency is Sudanese pound. And here you can see in the South African in the African continent you can find for Sudan. So very far away from India. So world's first country which recently hit 3 trillion market cap. So 3 trillion market cap is hit by Apple. So Apple is now, according to the world, it's the world's first company to hit the 3 trillion market capitalization. Okay. So market capitalization means the value of each share into total shares outstanding. So how many people are having these shares into the value of shares? The current share value of Apple is $182 US dollars. Into how many shares are present in the market? So total 3 trillion worth shares are present in the market. So making it one of the first companies to cross this achievement, to cross this milestone. So Apple current CEO Tim Cook, established in 1976, headquartered in California. So this is about Apple. So please remember, very, very important. So which country recently joined International Solar Alliance as the 102nd member by signing the framework agreement? So which country joined the International Solar Alliance? The answer is Antigua and Barbuda. So Antigua and Barbuda, a Caribbean island country. So it recently joined the International Solar Alliance. So Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Gaston Brown, has signed the framework agreement in the presence of Indian High Commissioner Srinivas. So let us discuss about Antigua and Barbuda. So this is the flag of Antigua Barbuda. Capital is St. John's. Currency is East Caribbean dollar. Monarch is Queen Elizabeth II, and the Prime Minister is Gaston Brown. So you can see it is present in the Atlantic Ocean, in the Caribbean islands, in the Lesser Antilles. So Antigua, this is formed by 2 islands, Antigua and Barbuda. So this country is the now 102nd member of the International Solar Alliance. So let us discuss about International Solar Alliance. So it's a coalition of solar-rich countries between the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn. So to address their special energy needs, we have formed this organization. This is formed by Indian Prime Minister Modi and France President Emmanuel Macron in November 30, 2015 in Paris. The current headquarters of the Solar Alliance is present in Gurugram in Haryana. So this is a dedicated platform for cooperation between the solar-rich resource countries, mainly to achieve the common goal of increasing the use and quality of solar energy to bring a safe, convenient, affordable, equitable and sustainable manner. So this is about the Solar Alliance. So who is the new Secretary General of Shanghai Cooperation Organization? The new Secretary General of Shanghai Cooperation Organization is Zhang Ming. So Zhang Ming, the Chinese senior diplomat who was recently who was currently the China's ambassador to European Union, he was appointed as now the Secretary General of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So he will take the charge from Vladimir Norov, who is the former minister of Uzbekistan. So he served for 3 years. Now he will be replaced by, Norov will be replaced by Chinese Zhang Ming. Okay. So 2022 is a very important year for India at Shanghai Cooperation Organization, because we will assume the presidency, will run the organization for 1 year from 2022 to 2023. So let us discuss about Shanghai Cooperation Organization. It's a Eurasian, Europe plus Asia, political, economic, military organization, mainly to maintain peace, security, stability in the region, formed in 2001 and headquartered in Beijing. Okay, their official languages are Russian and Chinese. Prior to the formation of Shanghai Cooperation Organization in 2001, there were 5 countries in this group called Shanghai 5, later joined by Uzbekistan, then India and Pakistan in 2017, and recently 2021, Iran joined this organization. So please remember these current affairs, very, very important regarding Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Okay, so who was appointed as the Secretary General of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC? So who is the new Secretary General of OPEC? The answer is Haytham Al-Ghais. So Haytham Al-Ghais of Kuwait. So he was appointed as the Secretary General of OPEC countries. Okay, so Al-Ghais, so he is the former executive of the Kuwait Petroleum Corporation and also the OPEC's governor. So he will take charge in August 2022. He will run the organization. So this OPEC is mainly to prepare its allies, the oil producing countries, to decide on the future of oil production. As you know, the demand for oil is increasing because of the because of the past 2 years, because of COVID, there was a decrease in demand for oil, but now they are regaining demand for oil. So that is why they need to decide their future. So the new Secretary General appointed is Haytham Al-Ghais. Okay. So let us discuss about OPEC, which was established in Baghdad in 1960 by 5 countries. So currently it has 13 members. Okay. The current headquarters of OPEC is in Vienna, Austria. So OPEC mainly aims to manage the supply of oil and the price of the oil in order to avoid fluctuations that might affect the countries, both producing and purchasing countries. So this is about OPEC. So we'll discuss the state news. So first state in the country to launch digital life certificate system for pensioners. So life certificate system for pensioners was launched by the state of Odisha. So Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik, he launched an online service for verification and identification submission of life certificates. So life certificate is very essential for state pensioners to get pension every month. So generally they go to office and they submit their life certificate, but now they can do it digitally. So due to this COVID pandemic situations, government has moved towards digitalization. Okay, so Odisha Governor Ganesh Lal, Chief Minister is Naveen Patnaik. So do remember, very very important. So next, which state having the highest number of villages as ODF plus, Open Defecation Free Plus, under Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin Phase 2 program? So the answer is Telangana. So Telangana has highest number of villages under ODF plus. Okay, so Telangana top of the list, followed by Tamil Nadu, then by Karnataka. Okay, so let us discuss about what is ODF, ODF plus and water plus. So ODF means there are no visible fecal matter in the environment. Okay, every household they have their own public or community toilets. ODF plus means not a single person is defecating in public or urinating in open. All the community and public toilets are maintained properly, cleaned and maintained properly. ODF plus means it is the proper treatment and management of the septic and sewerage, which is safely managed and treated. There is no discharge or dumping of untreated sewerage into drains or water bodies or open areas. This is ODF plus. Water plus means no untreated water is discharged into the environment. So these are the differences between ODF, ODF plus and water plus. So please remember, very very important these concepts. Okay, so which state declared itself a child marriage free district? So this particular district in this state, the Ganjam district, very simple to say, Ganjam district is present in which state, which declared as child marriage free district? The answer is Odisha. So Ganjam district is present in Odisha. So Odisha's Ganjam district, they declared that they are child marriage free district, the first in the state. Okay, so this is mainly because of the program launched by the Sarpanch and the task force committee members in the Ganjam district. They prevented a lot of child marriages. They educated the parents to educate their girl child. So this is about the Ganjam district, so present in Odisha. So Odisha Governor Ganesh Lal, Chief Minister is Naveen Patnaik. So next, this state has become the first LPG enabled smoke free Indian state. So LPG enabled smoke free Indian state, the answer is Himachal Pradesh. So Himachal Pradesh, because of the schemes, successful implementation of schemes Ujjwala and Grahini Suvidha Yojana by the Himachal Pradesh government. So Himachal Pradesh is now the first LPG enabled smoke free state of the country. So as many as women were benefited because of these two schemes. Okay, so Himachal Pradesh Governor Rajendra Alekar and Chief Minister Jairam Thakur. So please remember, very very important. So student startup and innovation policy. So this policy was launched by which state for the next 5 years? The answer is Gujarat. So Vibrant Gujarat. Gujarat has launched the student startup and innovation policy for the next 5 years. So this policy is mainly to establish active innovation and incubation centers in all the universities. This mainly to support 50 lakh students across 1,000 educational institutions, 10,000 schools for innovation and entrepreneurship skill development. Okay, so Gujarat Governor Acharya Devrat and Chief Minister Bhupendra Bhai Patel. So please remember, very very important. We'll see the important appointments. We have a lot of appointments. So who is the new chairman and CEO of Railway Board? The new chairman and CEO of Railway Board is Vinay Kumar Tripathi. So Vinay Kumar Tripathi is the new chairman and CEO of Railway Board. Okay, so let us discuss about the chairman and CEO of Railway Board, who is the administrative head of Indian Railways. Indian Railways is under the control of Union government. So the chairperson, he also serves the principal secretary of the Ministry of Railways. This Railway Board was established in 1922, and then Chief Commissioner of Railways was the head. But in 1951, the Chief Commissioner was replaced by Chairman of the Board. So current Chairman of the Board is Vinay Kumar Tripathi. So who is the Director General of Indian Coast Guard? So newly appointed Director General of Indian Coast Guard is V.S. Patania. So V.S. Patania is the Director General of Indian Coast Guard. Okay, so let us discuss about Indian Coast Guard. So it's a maritime law enforcement search and rescue agency of India. So it is under the Ministry of Defence. They are also responsible for marine environment protection. During oil spills, they are the coordinating authority. So it was established in 1978, headquarters is in New Delhi, motto is We Protect. So next, the managing director and CEO of newly appointed Jammu and Kashmir Bank. So Baldev Prakash is the CEO, managing director of Jammu and Kashmir Bank. Okay, so please remember Jammu and Kashmir Bank established 1938, headquarters is in Srinagar. Tagline: serving to empower. So next, Ashok Illuswamy. So he's an Indian origin engineer. So he was the first appointed as the first employee of which of the following companies? The answer is Tesla. So Tesla CEO Elon Musk, he announced in Twitter that Ashok Illuswamy is the first employee to be hired for the vehicle company's autopilot team. So Tesla was established in 2003, headquartered in Austin, Texas state in USA. So who was appointed? Vinod Khanna was appointed as the CEO of which of the following airlines? So Vinod Khanna is appointed as the CEO of Vistara Airlines. So Vinod Khanna is the CEO of Vistara. So Vistara was established in 2013, headquartered in Gurugram, Haryana. It's a partnership joint venture between Tata Sons and Singapore Airlines. Okay. So ONGC has appointed their first female CMD. So what is the name of the first female CMD? So the answer is Alka Mittal. So Alka Mittal is the CMD of Indian Oil and Natural Gas Organization. She is the first woman to head the top post in the company. Okay. So let us discuss about ONGC, which was established in 1956. Headquarters is in New Delhi. So RBI has appointed Ajay Kumar Chaudhary as well as this another particular person among the options as the executive directors of RBI. The answer is Deepak Kumar. So Ajay Kumar Chaudhary, Deepak Kumar were appointed as executive directors of RBI. So RBI was established 1935, headquarters is in Mumbai, Governor is Shaktikanta Das. So who was appointed as the president of US India Business Council? The new president of US India Business Council is Atul Kashyap. So Atul Kashyap, so earlier who is the United States ambassador to India, is now the head of the president of India US India Business Council. Okay, so this business council was established in 1975 mainly to enlighten and encourage the private sectors of both India and US to enhance the investment flows. It is headquartered in Washington DC. So who was appointed as the Director General of National Mission for Clean Ganga? The Director General of National Mission for Clean Ganga is Ashok Kumar. So Ashok Kumar, he replaced Rajiv Ranjan Mishra to be the DG of National Mission for Clean Ganga. Ashok Kumar is very popularly called the Rain Man of India because of his excellent rainwater harvesting techniques under the Jal Shakti Abhiyan Catch the Rain campaign. So National Mission for Clean Ganga, it is a society registered in 2011 under the Societies Registration Act. So it is headquartered in New Delhi. The main aim of this National Mission for Clean Ganga is to abate the pollution and rejuvenation of the Ganga river. To avoid pollution, to redevelop the Ganga river and maintain ecological flows in the Ganga river, maintain the water quality in the Ganga river. Okay. So next, government appointed Vijay Paul Sharma as the CACP chairman. What is the full form of CACP? So CACP means Commission for Agricultural Cost and Price. Commission for Agricultural Cost and Price. So Vijay Paul Sharma, he is the head of this organization. So this organization was established in 1965 as Agricultural Price Commission, renamed in 1985. So it's an advisory body. Mainly they recommend the minimum support price for every commodity. So as of now they are giving MSPs for 23 commodities, mainly to motivate the farmers to adopt latest technologies and optimal use of resources to increase the productivity in agriculture. So please remember, very, very important. So Bank of Baroda appointed this particular cricketer as a brand ambassador. So the brand ambassador, brand endorser of the Bank of Baroda is Shafali Verma. So Shafali Verma is now the brand ambassador of Bank of Baroda. So Bank of Baroda established 1908, headquarters is in Vadodara, tagline India's International Bank. So recently Dina Bank and Vijaya Bank were amalgamated, they are merged into Bank of Baroda in 2019. So these are all the important appointments, please remember. Now we will see important schemes and committees. So SEBI Market Data Advisory Committee is now chaired by SEBI Market Data Advisory Committee is chaired by SAHO. Okay, so SEBI has appointed this particular committee, the Primary Market Advisory Committee on Data. So this committee will provide recommendations on security market data access and privacy. Okay, earlier this committee was headed by Madhavi Puri, now it is headed by SAHO. Okay, so this is about the SEBI committee. So these are the list of other members. Please go through the list. And SEBI was established in 1988, given statutory status in 1992. Headquarters is in Mumbai. Chairman is Ajay Tyagi. So next, the only female representative in the Parliamentary Standing Committee to examine the Prohibition of Child Marriage Amendment Bill 2021. The only woman member in the committee is Sushmita Dev. So Sushmita Dev is the only woman member in this committee. So this bill is mainly to raise the legal age of marriage for women in India from 18 to 21. Okay. So this committee is headed by Vinay Sahasrabuddhe of BJP, and the only woman member is Sushmita Dev. So please remember. So along with the Prohibition of Child Marriage Amendment Bill, 7 other personal bills are going to be amended to raise the marriage of women from 18 to 21. So Power Ministry, they have successfully completed how many years of Ujala scheme? So how many years of Ujala scheme? 7 years. So 7 years ago, Ujala scheme was launched by the Union Ministry of Power. So Ujala scheme now celebrates 7 years. Okay. So nearly 37 crore LEDs were distributed, each at a cost of rupees 10. So electricity saved in this 7 years is 4,800 crore units annually. Money saved is 19,000 crores annually, and the reduction in demand of power is 9,565 megawatts per year, and carbon emissions are reduced over 3.8 million tons annually. So this is the achievement of the Ujala scheme. So Ujala scheme, which is called the Unnat Jyoti by Affordable LEDs for All. So this scheme is the world's largest domestic lighting program, where 36 crore LEDs were distributed or sold to the public. The main objective of this scheme is to promote efficient lighting, enhance awareness on various efficient equipment, reduce electricity bills, and preserve the environment. So as of January 5th, this is the record, and the Union Minister of Power currently is R.K. Singh or Rajkumar Singh. So please remember, very, very important. So now we'll see the important summits, okay, and conferences. Nirmala Sitharaman chaired which edition of GST Council meet in Delhi in December 2021? It is the 46th GST Council. So Union Finance Minister has chaired the 46th GST Council meeting. So GST Council is a constitutional body under Article 279A. They make recommendations to the union and state government regarding GST. So GST was implemented by the Constitution 101 Amendment Act in 2016. So GST was implemented in 2017. Act came in 2016. Okay. So GST Council is generally chaired by the Union Finance Minister, attended by the Union Ministry of State for Finance, as well as the state ministers. In every state you will have a finance or revenue minister. They also attend this meeting. Okay. So decisions in this committee are taken by majority of not less than 3/4. So this council secretariat is present in New Delhi. Revenue Secretary, Union Revenue Secretary will be the ex officio secretary of this council. So let us discuss about GST, which is a tax on goods and services sold domestically for consumption. So it's a uniform rate across the country. France is the first country to implement GST in 1954. India implemented in 2017. So the 24th National Conference on E-Government was organized in which city? It was organized in the city of Hyderabad. So Hyderabad city has organized the National Conference on E-Governance. So Union Minister Jitendra Singh, so he organized this National Conference on E-Governance in Telangana, Hyderabad state, and the theme is India's decade, digital governance in a post-pandemic world. So this conference was organized by the Department of Administrative Reforms, Ministry of Electronics and IT, and the state government of Telangana. So all these three bodies have organized this conference. Okay. So this conference is mainly to give momentum to e-governance initiatives, providing opportunities to civil servants and industry captains to showcase their successful interventions in e-governance, improving the end-to-end service delivery. All the delegates from 28 states, 8 union territories, research institutes, IT sector, they have participated in this conference virtually. So it is organized by Department of Administrative Reforms, which is a part of Ministry of Personnel, and the Minister of the Ministry of Personnel is Jitendra Singh itself. So Union Minister of Electronics IT, Ashwini Vaishnaw. Telangana Governor Tamilisai Soundararajan, and Chief Minister is K. Chandrasekhar Rao. So do remember all these points too. So let us see the awards. So this journalist was given the Journalist of the Year award, the Red Ink Awards by Mumbai Press Club. So the award goes to Danish Siddiqui. So Danish Siddiqui was given the Journalist of the Year award 2022 by Mumbai Press Club. So he recently expired during the Afghanistan conflict. So his wife Frederick Siddiqui has received the award. So Chief Justice of India N.V. Ramana has presented these awards, the Red Ink Awards for Excellence in Journalism. So Danish Siddiqui was given for his spectrum of investigative and impactful news photography. Okay, and senior journalist Prem Shankar Jha was given the Lifetime Achievement Award. So Mumbai Press Club, they give this Reading Awards mainly to recognize the best journalist in the country. The Press Club was established in 1968, headquarters is in Mumbai. So Ramnath Goenka Award, it's a popular award in journalism. So in photojournalism category, who was given the award? So Jishan Latif was given the Ramnath Goenka Award in journalism category. Okay, so for his photo essay called the Odious Struggle for Inclusion in the NRC, National Registry of Citizens, which was published in 2019, so he was given the award. Okay, so these awards are presented by the Indian Express Group. So they have launched this Ramnath Goenka Awards in 2006 in memory of their founder Ramnath Goenka. So these awards are given to celebrate the excellence in journalism, recognize courage and commitment, showcase outstanding contributions of individuals every year. So next, UiPath Automation Excellence Award, Best Automation under Crisis for Business Continuity. So Best Automation Award goes to which of the following bank? So the answer is South Indian Bank. So South Indian Bank has won the Crisis for Business Continuity Award given by UiPath company. Okay, so this particular edition recognizes the contribution of individuals and organizations across India and South Asia, which is Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and Nepal. So these awards are given by UiPath in collaboration with 10xDS. It's an exponential digital solutions company. UiPath was established in 2005, headquartered in New York. It's a robotic process automation company. It's a software company. And 10xDS, it's a company which provides innovative solutions in financial sector. It was established in 2016, headquartered in Trivandrum, Kerala. So here is the entire list of awardees given by UiPath. Okay. And next, South India Bank, established 1929, headquarters is in Thrissur. Tagline, experience next generation banking. So Ramnath Goenka awards are given in which of the following fields? We already discussed, it is in the field of journalism. So on the name of the founder of Indian Express Group, Ramnath Goenka, in 2006 these awards were launched. Okay, so Indian Express Group was launched by Ramnath Goenka way back in 1932, before the independence. So these awards are given to journalists to honor the journalists across the print, broadcast and digital media. So here is the list of winners this year. Please go through the list. Okay, very very important. So next, name the Indian who achieved the first ever Guinness World Record in numerology and the first world record of 2022. So the answer is J.C. Chowdhury. So J.C. Chowdhury, he created the first world record of 2022 as well as first world record in numerology. So by educating about the ancient science, the numerology science, to around 6,000 participants across the United States, United Kingdom, Middle East and India. So Guinness World Record, they have launched this new category called numerology. Under numerology, J.C. Chowdhury was given the award. Okay, so Guinness World Records, you know, they list world records of both human achievements and extremes of the nature. So this was launched, it's the brainchild of Hugh Beaver. So this was launched by twin brothers Norris and Ross McQuaitner in London in 1955. So from then onwards, they are giving this world record, Book of World Records. So J.C. Chowdhury is now in the Book of World Records. So next, which state has won the best state in third national water awards for 2020? So third national water awards, best state category is won by Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh has won the award. So Ministry of Jal Shakti, Gajendra Singh Shekhawat, he declared the winners of the national water awards. So these awards come with a citation trophy and a cash prize. So these awards were launched in 2018 to recognize and motivate individuals and organizations who are doing exemplary work in the field of water resource management. So total 57 awards were presented under various categories. Here is the list of categories: best state, best district, best village panchayat, best urban body, best media, best school. So here is a list. Please go through the list, very very important. So let us see important business news. So this company is set to acquire 100% stake in Allies India and Green Investments. So which tech company is acquiring 100% investment, 100% stake in Allies and Green Investments? The answer is Techem. So Tech Mahindra is going to purchase Allies India and Green Investments for a total 125 million US dollars. So this acquisition will boost the Tech Mahindra's capability in digital experience solution, learning and development, marketing, engineering, cloud, automation, business intelligence, technical support services, and everything. Okay, so Techem was established in 1986, headquarters is in Pune, founder is Anand Mahindra, CEO is CP Gurnani. So okay, so please remember all these points. So next question. Okay, next question. So which insurance company has continued to be identified as domestic systematically important insurers? So these are too big to fail. So which of the insurance companies are too big to fail? All of the above: life insurance, general insurance, New India Insurance. All of the above are too big to fail insurance companies. So Insurance Regulatory Development Authority, they have stated that LIC, GIC, New India, they continue to be domestic systematically important insurance. If there is any distress in this company, it will lead to collapse in the financial system, financial insurance system. They are too big and too important to fail. Okay, so this is given by the Insurance Regulatory Development Authority, which was established in 1999. Headquarters is in Hyderabad. Chairperson is Subhash Chandra Kuntia. So do remember these points. So next, this insurance company has launched Disease Zone at Mumbai, so to enhance their digital footprint. So what is the name of the insurance company? The answer is Life Insurance Corporation. So LIC has brought this Disease Zone. This is mainly to allow the customers to purchase policies online, pay the premium and avail of various other services. So Disease Zone, they are kiosks established in the Mumbai Bandra Kurla complex, where they can go and they can get information related to the products and services provided by LIC. They can pay premiums, they can take new schemes and all these things. So LIC chairperson MR Kumar, established 1956, headquarters is in Mumbai. So how much percentage of stake is acquired by NTPC in Power Exchange? So it is 5%. So NTPC acquired 5% stake in Power Exchange. So Power Exchange was established in 2008. It is India's first internationally promoted Power Exchange Limited. So where you can buy and purchase the power between, it's a platform for buyers and sellers to purchase power. So it is, this Power Exchange is present in Mumbai. NTPC has acquired stake. So NTPC, National Thermal Power Corporation Limited, established in 1975, headquarters is in New Delhi. So this mutual fund was launched by which of the following mutual fund companies? The first auto exchange traded fund. So first auto exchange traded fund was launched by Nippon India Mutual Fund. So Nippon India Asset Management Limited. Okay, so they have launched India's first auto sector exchange traded fund called Nippon India Nifty Auto ETF. So it will provide exposure to the top 15 companies representing the auto related sectors like automobile, four-wheelers, two and three-wheelers, auto ancillaries and tires. Okay, so this particular ETF will start operation from January 5th to January 14th. Minimum you need to invest 1,000 rupees in the multiples of rupee 1 and you can buy this exchange traded fund. So it's what is exchange traded fund? So it's a type of security that will track an index, sector, commodity or other asset, okay, which can be sold or purchased on stock exchange in the same way like a regular stock. Suppose you are buying shares of Reliance or buying shares of Adani Power. Same way you can buy this exchange traded fund, but this traded fund will be based, the high and lows of the traded fund will be based on the auto sector. If auto sector is rising, this fund will increase. If it is falling, this fund also will fall. So high risk but high gain exchange traded funds. So this is about exchange traded funds. They are very cost effective, more liquid than the mutual funds. So that is about these exchange traded funds. So please remember, very very important. You can go through the data about exchange traded funds. So Nippon Life, it is established in 1995, headquarters is in Mumbai. So this tech giant has acquired Israeli cybersecurity startup called Simplify. So Simplify is acquired by whom? So it is acquired by Google. So Google acquired Simplify for a $500 million deal. Okay. So with this, now Google will enhance its Google Cloud Chronicle operations. So Simplify will help Google to enhance its operations, end-to-end security services to its customers. So Simplify was established 2015, headquarters is in Tel Aviv and New York. Google, established in 1998, headquarters is in California. CEO is Sundar Pichai. So NPCI, Bharat Bill Pay Limited. So they have launched UPMS like UPI, RTGS, NIFT. They have launched Unified Presentment Management System for simplifying recurring bill payments. So generally DTH connection, you need to pay bill every month. Mobile recharge, you need to pay every month. So these are recurring bill payments. So NPCI has brought this unified presentment payments management system where every month you will get an auto message that your bill isn't due and automatically the amount will deduct from your bank account. So this particular UPMS system was launched by NPCI. So who is the CEO of NPCI Bharat Bill Payment System? The answer is Nupur Chaturvedi. Nupur Chaturvedi is the CEO of Bharat Bill Pay Limited, and NPCI CEO is Dilip Ashby. So please remember, don't get confused. For Bharat Bill it is Nupur Chaturvedi, and for NPCI it is Dilip. Okay. So we already discussed where UPMS you can simply auto renewal of this recurring payments. So this is about Bharat Bill Payment Limited. Okay. So NPCI Bharat Bill established 2020, headquarters is in Mumbai, CEO is Nupur Chaturvedi. NPCI established 2008, headquarters is in Mumbai, CEO is Dilip Ashby. So please remember, NPCI is different from NPCI Bharat Bill Payment System. So Bharat Bill provides one-stop solution for all your recharges, mobile recharge, DTH recharge and all these things. So which of these companies has invested $200 million in Dunzo, the delivery platform, to acquire 25% stake? So the answer is Reliance Capital. So Reliance has invested nearly $200 million in Dunzo. It's a delivery platform. Okay. So with this, Reliance is now acquiring 25% in the company. So Dunzo has raised a total of $240 million, 40 million from other companies like Lightbox, Lightrock, 3L Capital, Ulterior Capital and all these things. So this will help Dunzo to fasten their commerce business, enable instant delivery of essentials, B2B business and all these things. So Dunzo was established in 2014, headquarters is in Bengaluru. It was established by Kabir Biswas along with Ankur Agarwal, Dalvir Suri and Mukund Jha. So please remember, very very important. So this general insurance company has launched a campaign called Bahane Chodo Tax Bachao. So Tax Bachao campaign was launched by SBI General Insurance. So SBI General Insurance, they have launched this particular campaign to increase the awareness about the need to buy health insurance to save tax, highlight the other benefits. So this campaign is mainly about awareness about how to buy health insurance and how to save taxes. Okay. So this campaign is done by Rudraksh Singh, also called as Rudy. So he promotes, this anchor promotes the SBI General Insurance campaign across various major cities in India. Okay. So India ka lamest excuse. So with this tagline, he'll question the people, do you have health insurance or not? Why are you not taking it? It is very essential. So he'll try to promote the product. So this is about the health insurance. And you know, if you take health insurance, you will get the tax benefit under Section 80D of the Income Tax Act of 1961. So SBI General Insurance established 2009, headquarters is in Mumbai, tagline in Surakshi aur Bharosa Dono. So please remember, very very important. So let us see the banking news, very very important. SBI Card and Payment Services, they have collaborated with this company to enable their cardholders to tokenize their cards on devices and make payments. So SBI Card has partnered with which of the following payment system to do tokenization? The answer is Paytm. So SBI and Paytm, they have brought out tokenization services. Tokenization means, you know, masking the original card number, replacing it with the unique characters termed as token, so that it will secure the customer card details during transactions. So SBI Card was established in 1998, headquarters is in Gurugram. Paytm established 2010, headquarters is in Noida in UP, and CEO is Vijay Shekhar Sharma. So please remember, he is the founder and CEO. So next, RBI has approved this payment bank for doing international cross-border remittances under money transfer service scheme. So RBI has given approval for Fino Payments Bank. So Fino Payments Bank was given approval for international cross-border remittance business. So customers of Fino Payments Bank, they can receive money directly from foreign countries. So money remitted by the family members abroad can be directly withdrawn at the nearest micro ATMs or other enabled payment services in the Fino neighborhood merchant points. Okay. So this is mainly to provide access to banking facilities in the rural areas. So Fino Payment Bank established 2017, headquarters is in Mumbai. So next, this payment bank was given the scheduled bank status by RBI. So Airtel Payment Bank was given the scheduled bank status by RBI. Okay, so it is now placed under second schedule of the RBI Act 1934. So Airtel Payments Bank, it is the fastest growing digital banks in the country with a base of 1115 million users. So this is about Airtel Payments Bank, which was established in 2017, headquarters is in New Delhi. Okay. So next, how many buckets are used by RBI to classify banks as domestic systematically important banks? Systematically important banks. So to classify them, how many buckets are present? So there are total 5 buckets. Okay. So the domestic systematically important banks are classified under 5 buckets. So bucket 5 is the most important. If you see State Bank of India, it is present in bucket 3. ICICI, HDFC are present in bucket 1. So as of now, RBI says State Bank of India, ICICI, HDFC are domestic systematically important banks. So these are too big to fail. If they fail, it is a collapse of the entire economic system in India. So RBI established 1935, headquarters is in Mumbai, Governor Shaktikanta Das. So please remember, very very important. So next, RBI has issued a framework for facilitating small value digital payments in offline mode. So generally how you do transactions now in online mode, either using the Phone Pay, Google Pay, UPI, or you will do net banking. But now here offline mode you can do transactions with up to a limit of rupees 2000. So rupees 2000 you can do limits, you can do offline payments also. So this is mainly to promote digital transactions in rural and semi-urban areas. So in rural and semi-urban areas there are internet connectivity issues. So that is why RBI has brought up this pilot project where you can do offline digital payments. Okay, so with a upper limit of 200 rupees, they can do total transactions of 2000 rupees at a point in a day. So this is about the RBI offline payments. So RBI has cancelled the certificate of authorization for these payment system operators. Who are those? They are both Muthoot Vehicle and Asset Finance Limited and Eco India Financial Services. So both of them, for both of them, their certificate of authorization was cancelled as payment system operators. Okay, so payment system operators means they facilitate the purchase of goods and services against the value stored on such instruments. So generally these people, they provide smart cards, mobile wallets, paper vouchers, internet accounts or wallets. So they'll have some prepaid money. So you can purchase using these cards, you can purchase various goods and services. So their certificate of authorization was now cancelled by RBI. So Muthoot Vehicle is established in 1992, headquarters is in Ernakulam. Eco India is established in 2007, headquartered in Delhi. So please remember all these points. Let us see the economy news. So interest rate, the new interest rate applicable on Public Provident Fund account. So what is the interest rate which you get from Public Provident Fund account? The answer is 7.1%. So interest rates on small savings schemes, they remained unchanged for the fourth quarter, that is from January to March. In third quarter also they are the same rates for small savings schemes. West Bengal is the highest contributor to the small savings schemes. UP is the second contributor, and government generally notifies these interest rates on small savings schemes on quarterly basis. So here is the list of various interest rates of small savings schemes. Okay, so please go through the list. So small savings schemes are mainly to help individuals to achieve their financial goals. It's a major source of household savings in India. So what are the different types of small savings schemes? Like postal deposits, like savings certificates, social security schemes. So these are small savings schemes in India. Okay, so India achieved a highest ever monthly export of $37 billion. In which month? So highest exports of $37 billion was achieved in the month of December. So in December, India achieved this feat. Okay, so Indian exports were increased by 37% to $37 billion. Import also increased by 38%. So the hike in exports is seen in engineering products, petroleum items, germs and jewelry. So they raised exponentially. Okay, so they are expecting to reach $400 billion by the end of March 2022. And also if you see, the shipments between April to December has crossed 300 billion. In the next coming 4 months, they are expecting to reach it to 400 billion. So engineering goods export was increased by 37%, germs and jewelry by 15%, ready-made garments by 22%, cotton by 46%, and export of services is now at $178 billion. See the rise of exports and service exports, very very important. So INDRA, it's a credit rating agency present in India. They have forecasted, the new forecast of GDP growth rate in India is 9.3%. Earlier it is 9.4, now reduce it to 9.3 because of the rise of Omicron cases in India. So Omicron variant cases are increasing in India. So that is why INDRA, India Ratings and Research, they have reduced the growth rate to 9.3%. So INDRA is a company launched by Fitch Group, which is headquartered in Mumbai. They give accurate, timely prospective credit opinions. And also Brickworks ratings. So Brickwork rating, they also projected India's GDP growth rate to be 8.5 to 9%. Earlier their estimate was 10, now they reduce it to 8.5 to 9%. So Brickwork, it is based in Bengaluru, registered with SEBI in 2008. It was given the RBI's External Credit Assessment Institute status in 2012. So this particular Brickwork ratings, they offer bank loan ratings to companies. Okay. So let us see important agreement news. So United Nations World Food Program, they have partnered with Akshay Patra to implement Pradhan Mantri Poshan Shakti Nirman, simply called Poshan Scheme. So Akshay Patra partnered with World Food Program to implement Poshan Scheme. So where is the headquarters of World Food Program? World Food Program headquarters is in Rome, Italy. So in Rome, Italy, you will find the headquarters of World Food Program. So Poshan Abhiyan is nothing but midday meal scheme to enhance the food security, hygiene, capacity building of cooks come helpers, nutritional quality of school meals. So United Nations World Food Program and Akshay Patra, so both of them are partnering to provide this Poshan scheme. So Akshay Patra, it's a non-profit organization in India. They mainly do the school lunch program. Okay, they generally feed 18 lakh children per day in India. So it was established in 2000. Headquarters is in Bengaluru. If you see about World Food Program, they are established in 1961. Headquartered in Rome. Their main missions is school children to be fed with meals. So midday meal program, which was launched in 1995, it's mainly to increase the nutritional levels of school going children. So they provide free meals for primary and upper primary school students. So this is midday meal program, which is now called Pradhan Mantri Poshan Scheme. So let us see important defense news. So what is the theme of naval exercise Milan 2022? So the theme of naval exercise Milan 2022 is the camaraderie, cohesion, collaboration. So camaraderie, cohesion, collaboration is the theme of naval exercise Milan 2022. So this exercise is going to be held in Visakhapatnam, which is scheduled from February 25th. Okay, so this exercise was launched first in 1995. It is conducted biennially every 2 years. 17 nations including India have participated in Milan 2014, which is the biggest event. So this year we are expecting nearly 25 to 40 countries to participate in the, 46 countries to participate in this naval exercise. Okay, so please remember, very important. So Chief of Naval Staff Hari Kumar, Vice Chief SN Gormade, Deputy Chief Ravneet Singh. So please remember. So next, this particular country is not part of Sea Dragon exercise 2022. So China is not part of the Sea Dragon exercise 2022. So India with its Quad members along with Canada and South Korea, they have organized the Sea Dragon exercise. US has organized the Sea Dragon exercise, and India along with Quad members Canada, South Korea have participated in the Sea Dragon exercise, which was held in Anderson Air Force Base in Guam. It is an Air Force base present in Western Pacific. Okay, 6 nations have participated: United States, Australia, Canada, India, Japan and South Korea. All these 6 nations have participated in this exercise. So this exercise mainly focuses on anti-submarine warfare training. So in this particular exercise, the Dragon Belt Award will be presented for showing exemplary performance. 2021, the Dragon Belt Award went to Royal Canadian Air Force. So this year, who will receive the award, we need to see. So it's a exercise organized by United States. So please remember. So let us see science and technology news. So recent COVID-19 variant called IHU. This was emerged in which country? So IHU was emerged in the country of France. So in France, we have detected this IHU variant. So this variant was first detected by the Institute of Mediterranean Infection Foundation, which is present in Marseille in France. So 12 cases of this new infection were detected in Marseille. So people from Africa, so people who travel to Africa, Cameroon country, they have returned back to France. So that is why they have detected this particular IHU variant. Okay, so these people, they carried this variant from Cameroon to, they are expecting that these people, the travelers, they carried this variant from Cameroon to France. Okay, so next, India's first crypto index that was launched by CryptoWire. What is the name of the index? The answer is IC15. IC15 or IC15 is the index, first index of cryptocurrencies launched by CryptoWire. It's a app regarding cryptocurrencies. So this IC15 tracks and measures the performance of top 15 widely traded liquid cryptocurrencies. Okay, so this will help the crypto enthusiast investors, investment managers to monitor the performance of cryptocurrencies in the global markets. So this CryptoWire is a part of Ticker Plant company which is established in 2005. Headquarters is in Mumbai. Okay, so ICMR they approved COVID detecting kit, testing kit, so which detects the new Omicron variant. So what is the name of the COVID kit? The answer is OmySure. So OmySure, which is launched by Tata Medical and Diagnostics. So this kit can detect the Omicron variant of SARS-CoV-2. So ICMR has gave approval. So this kit is compatible with all the standard real-time RT-PCR missions. So the test run time of the kit is 85 minutes and the overall result turnaround time is 130 minutes. Developed by the Tata Medical and Diagnostics, which is established in 2020. Headquarters is in New Delhi. So you know ICMR, it's a apex body in India for formulation, coordination and promotion of biomedical research. Established in 1911, renamed as ICMR in 1949. Headquarters is in New Delhi. Okay. So let us see quickly books and authors. Only 2 books. Mamata Beyond 2021. So it is authored by Jayanta Ghoshal. So Jayanta Ghoshal authored the book Mamata Beyond 2021. So Gandhi Assassin, the Making of Nathuram Godse and His Idea of India. So this book is authored by Dhirendra Jha. So Dhirendra Jha has authored the book Gandhi Assassin, the Making of Nathuram Godse and His Idea of India. So let us see the important sports news. So this cricket team has won the Under 19 Asia Cricket Cup in Dubai. So the answer is India. India won the Under 19 Asia Cup which was held recently in Dubai. Okay, so India defeated Sri Lanka to win the Asia Cup. So this cup was recently held in Dubai, and the next year from January 14, Under 19 Cricket World Cup will be held in Guyana, and India will have its first match against South Africa. So it's a good win for India in this Under 19 Asia Cup. So to prepare for the upcoming Under 19 World Cup. So Under 19 Asia Cup, it is organized by the Asian Cricket Council. It was first held in 1989, where in Bangladesh, where India has won the first cup. So Asian Cricket Council, it is established in 1983 to promote cricket in Asian countries, and Jai Shah is the current president, and this Asian Cricket Council is headquartered in Colombo in Sri Lanka. So cricket all-rounder Mohammad Hafiz, he announced a retirement from international cricket. So Mohammad Hafiz is a player of which of the following country? It is Pakistan. So Pakistan popular all-rounder Mohammad Hafiz, he announced a retirement from cricket. He is popularly nicknamed as the Professor. So please remember. So let us see important days. There are only few days this week. So January 1st, 2022, DRDO celebrated their Foundation Day. So which Foundation Day was celebrated? It is the 64th Foundation Day. So DRDO celebrates the 64th Foundation Day on January 1st. On January 1st in 1958, DRDO was established with 10 labs to enhance the research work in defense sector. So today DRDO has 52 labs with a network of 52 labs. It is the India's largest, most diverse research organization. So DRDO established, as you know, 1958, headquarters is in New Delhi. Chairman is Satish Reddy. So please remember. So World Braille Day is observed on January 4th. So January 4th is observed as World Braille Day. So since 2019, mainly to recognize the right of access to Braille by blind people, raise the awareness of the importance of Braille as a means of communication. Okay, and also this day is the birth anniversary of Louis Braille, who is the inventor of this language. Okay, so please remember, very, very important. So World Day of War Orphans is observed on January 6th. So January 6th is observed as the World Day of World Orphans, mainly to bring awareness about the plight of children who lost their parents due to conflict. So these children are the most disadvantaged, vulnerable groups present in the world today because they lost their parents in these conflicts. Okay, so that is why this day is mainly to recognize them. So according to the UNICEF, orphan is a child under 18 years of age who lost one or both of their parents because of all these, lost one of their both of their parents. Okay, so this is about the meaning of orphan. So let us see obituaries. Okay, so what is the profession of Vijay Galani, who recently passed away recently? So he is a popular film producer. So Bollywood film producer Vijay Galani, he passed away due to blood cancer. Okay, so next, Richard Leakey. So Richard Leakey, he passed away recently. He is a renewed conservativist and a fossil hunter. He belongs to which country? He belongs to the country of Kenya. So Kenya's conservativist Richard Leakey, so he is a legendary paleoanthropologist. So he discovered Turkana Boy in 1984. He brought a groundbreaking discovery of this particular Turkana Boy, because Turkana Boy is a complete fossil skeleton of human ancestor ever found. So he passed away recently. So paleoanthropology is nothing but it's a study of human evolution through fossil and archaeological records. So next, Ashit Sharma, he passed away recently. So Ashit Sharma is designated with which of the following? So he's a Vice Admiral. So Vice Admiral, Indian Navy's 1971 Indo-Pak War veteran, Vice Admiral Ashit Sharma, at the age of 100, he passed away recently. So he is the flag officer commanding of the Eastern Fleet during the 1971 war. Okay, so he passed away recently. So please remember. So three-time Olympic gold winning triple jump champion, he passed away recently. Who is this person? So the person is Victor Sanvi. So Victor Sanvi, three-time Olympic gold medal winner who belongs to USSR. So he brought this world record in Australia. He won gold medals in the 1969 Athens Olympics and 1974 Rome Olympics. Later, he acted as a coach for triple jumping for Australia also. So Victor Sanvi passed away recently. So next, this Indian social worker Sindhu Tai Sapkal, she passed away recently. What is the popular name of Sindhu Tai Sapkal? She is called the mother of orphans. So mother of orphans, Sindhu Tai Sapkal. She was recently given the Padma Shri Award in social work in 2021. So at the age of 73, she passed away. So please remember, and she is the she adopted nearly 2,000 orphans, and she was grandmother to many more even. So she on her life, a movie biopic was also released recently in 2010 called Me Sindhu Tai Sapkal. She is from Maharashtra. So this is about her. So next, the founder of Shillong Chamber Choir and renowned Indian concert pianist, so who passed away recently. So he is Neil Nankingri. So Neil Nankingri, so who belongs to Shillong, Meghalaya. So very popular Indian pianist. So he passed away recently in 2010. He performed before former US President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, who visited India. And also his Vande Mataram version was played when Chandrayaan was landing on moon during the live telecast program. He played this particular Vande Mataram also. 2015 he was given the Padma Shri Award. So this is about his details. Let us see the miscellaneous news. So this state or union territory celebrates the New Year Lusar festival by the Tibetan Buddhists. So Lusar festival is held in Ladakh. In Ladakh, the Tibetan Buddhists, they celebrate this Lusar festival. So celebrated by the Buddhist community. So it's a 15-day festival marking the first day of 11 months Tibetan calendar. The lunar calendar is Lusar festival. So Lusar is a Tibetan word of New Year. Okay. So this festival celebrates the birth anniversary of Tsongkhapa. So and also all the religious places like monasteries, stupas, residential places, they are lightened to welcome the new year. Okay. So Ladakh Lieutenant Governor is R.K. Mathur, and also on this day food offerings are given to the departed loved ones. So next, Indian origin British Army officer who is the first woman of color to make a solo unsupported trek to Earth's South Pole. So this Indian origin British Army officer is the first woman of color to reach the South Pole. So the answer is Harpreet Chandi. So Harpreet Chandi, Captain Harpreet Chandi, Indian origin British Sikh Army officer and a physiotherapist, also called as Polar Preet. She is the first woman of color to complete the solo unsupported trek to South Pole. So please remember. So South Pole, if you see, it is present in the East Antarctica region. Okay, South Pole. So please remember, very very important. Okay. So next, who inaugurated first open rock museum at National Geophysical Research Institute campus in Hyderabad? So who inaugurated? Who is the minister? The answer is Jitendra Singh. So Union Minister for Science and Technology, Jitendra Singh, he inaugurated India's first open rock museum in Hyderabad. So this museum has 35 different types of rocks brought from different parts of the country, aging from 3.3 billion years to 55 million years. So that is the age of the rocks. So these rocks were sourced from Odisha, Tamil Nadu, Uttarakhand, Jharkhand and Jammu and Kashmir. So this rock museum is mainly set up to educate the people, enlighten the masses about this lesser known facts. Okay. So these rocks represent the deepest part of Earth. So as much as 175 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. Okay. So this rock museum is present in the National Geophysical Research Institute campus in Hyderabad. So it is present in Hyderabad. So Hyderabad Governor Tamilisai Soundarya Chief Minister is KCR, K. Chandrasekhar Rao. So please remember. So these are all the MCQs for today. In the last 1 week. So please watch this entire video, very important. Please subscribe our YouTube channel for further videos. Please join the Telegram channel for this PDF. PDF is present in the Telegram channel. We'll provide the link in the description as well as comment section below. So please download the Career Power Hyderabad app, and you can visit our branches Kukatpalli, Amirpet, Dilshanagar for course details. You can call the numbers. Thank you, students. We'll meet in the next class.